Brock for 5 minutes, please.
Commissioner, can you confirm that the next general election will not impede or interfere with your multiple investigations into fraudulent procurement practices and the potential laying of criminal charges?
Mr. Chair, as I mentioned earlier, the independence of policing is a key thing for us, and it's respected, and we will not change the course because there's a general election.
So the answer is no, it will not.
That's right.
Thank you, Commissioner. To either gentleman, the majority of MPs in the House of Commons voted for a Conservative motion that orders the Auditor General, the Department of Industry, and SDTC, the Green Slush Fund, to collect and submit them to the Parliamentary Law Clerk. The motion passed essentially programs the Parliamentary Law Clerk to hand over files to the RCMP.
Yeah, just relevance. I know we flip back and forth on topics, but this is we're here today to discuss ArriveCan.
Well, I'm going to allow, you know, I give latitude. This is a matter before Parliament. Mr. Brock, you have the floor for 4 minutes.
Thank you, Chair. Nice try, Ms. Shanahan. To hand over files to the RCMP, they will be delivered to the RCMP headquarters. Will you commit, Commissioner or Deputy Commissioner, to undertaking a review of those documents?
I can say that any information that comes to the RCMP will go through appropriate level of review, using the appropriate resources to do so.
And I don't know if you recognize the importance of a thorough police investigation into the Green Slush Fund. It's been discovered that over 186 different conflicts of interest, not flagged, not acted upon, which resulted in the delivery of 300...
Chair? Yeah, I mean, I think we're going to have lots of time to talk about the SDTC. If the Conservatives are bored with the ArriveCan, we can certainly conclude it.
Ms. Shannon, that's not a point, but I will note your willingness to have the RCMP back for the Green Slush Fund. Mr. Brock, you have the floor.
Yeah, it's amazing the extent that the Liberal government will do to block our attempts to get to some answers. So 340 million taxpayer dollars sent out. If this were a publicly traded company, charges would have been laid, people would have been fired. There's such a difference between the public and the private spheres. So will you give Canadians and parliamentarians your commitment to reviewing this as swiftly as possible?
Mr. Chair, I think Mark was pretty clear on the information that we'd receive and the actions that we would take.
Thank you. Now, I listened very carefully, Deputy Commissioner, to your exchange with my colleague, Mr. Barrett. Mr. Barrett gave you a hypothetical about potential charges, particularly in relation to the attempts by Mindone to delete thousands and thousands of relevant emails. Your response piqued my interest. Your response was, any person who thwarts a criminal investigation will potentially face consequences. And that's true for every Canadian, isn't it?
That's correct, and for precision, my answer was not in the context of Mindone.
Right. No, I understand. It was in a general context, but applies to every Canadian. But the same can't be said for our Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, who single-handedly obstructed your investigation into an obstruction of justice charge in his involvement in the SNC-Lavalin matter. Name one Canadian, Commissioner.
We're not talking about SNC-Lavalin either. Relevant.
Chair, can we put an end to this?
No, I do have to hear points of order. Mr. Brock, you have a minute 40 seconds.
Commissioner or Deputy Commissioner, name one Canadian other than Justin Trudeau who can single-handedly block a criminal investigation. I'll give you some time to think about that.
I can take that question immediately. I can say that there is not a single Canadian that can block an RCMP independent criminal investigation, period.
Right. But Justin Trudeau did. Now, I'm looking at your conclusion and recommendation report into the SNC-Lavalin matter, and I'm looking at paragraph 23, which you probably don't have before you, And I want to basically reiterate this so that Canadians can understand where this investigation is at. Although you reached a conclusion not to charge Justin Trudeau, you indicate in 23 that your report does not translate to the absence of a criminal offense. Should additional evidence be uncovered corroborating a criminal intent to obstruct, it would be recommended that the occurrence be reopened for further investigation. So if Justin Trudeau cooperated with you and released cabinet confidences, particularly in relation to the firing of Jody Wilson-Raybould, would that further your investigation?
Mr. Chair, I'd be speculating of the type of information that was received. We operate in the process, in the judicial process, and without having all the knowledge of the authority of the Prime Minister, I'll just leave it at that. But there are different rules governing different entities and processes.
Brief last question, Mr. Brock.
Do I still have time?
You got one last question.
Thank you. That doesn't answer the question. If Justin Trudeau released cabinet confidences to you, gave you full transparency, full accountability, would that be sufficient evidence for you to finally conclude whether or not reasonable and probable grounds exist to charge a sitting Prime Minister? Yes or no?
If we had the totality of the information, Mr. Chair, we would be in a position to better assess the outcome of a file.
Thank you very much.
So, when Duclos, Minister Duclos appeared at committee not too long ago, this was probably 2.5 months removed from his announcement of a potential second wave. I asked him specifically on 4 subsequent occasions, of those 5 to 10 companies currently under review for fraudulent billing, have any of those cases been referred to the RCMP? Wouldn't give me an answer. So, let's talk to the source. Has Minister Duclos or a member of his department or Minister Anon or a member of her department referred additional cases to the RCMP? I'm not asking you to opine on the nature of the investigation. I'm asking for a confirmation. Has a referral been made?
As I stated earlier, there are numerous investigations.
That's not good enough. Canadians need to know. There's no transparency or accountability with this Liberal government. I'm not asking you to jeopardize the nature of the investigation. I'm asking you to confirm, has the Government of Canada made additional referrals? Yes or no?
You're asking me to answer a question in a manner that I cannot provide you the precision in which you're asking it. There are many ways that investigations come to us. I know that we are currently investigating several matters, as I stated earlier. But why is it
that you had no problem confirming that when the Auditor General referred a matter to you, you were investigating, but you can't confirm whether a minister or his department or her department made a referral? You can't opine on that. You see the disconnect there,
Actually,
Deputy?
Mr. Chair, I can give very accurate precision as to why that. I sat in a meeting personally with the Auditor General and the Commissioner where we had a discussion about the Auditor General referring information to us and offering her support in pursuit of a criminal investigation. What you're asking me for now, I have not personally been involved in those circumstances. I can say that organizationally there are circumstances that have led to us conducting numerous investigations into procurement irregularities. If I had had the opportunity to complete my answer in the question earlier as I attempted, I would have explained to you that I was lacking that precision because of a lack of my personal involvement or review of the information.
Can you confirm to committee that either of those 2 ministers or members of their respective departments have made additional referrals with respect to fraudulent procurement billing? Can you confirm? Yes or no?
I do not have that information with me.
I understand, but will you supply that to the committee within so many days?
I can undertake to review the files and determine if we have that information.
That's what I wanted to hear.